Welcome to the Tailgate Debate. You're here with Anthony, Zach, Jamie, and Earl.
Hey, what's going on? How are you guys tonight? All right, fuck you. So we're here.
The fuck?
I'm saying, how you doing? You guys just sit there like you fucking don't know me.
Is it a talk show?
Talk show.
Do your
How you doing, bro?
Do your intro
How
and
you-
let's go.
How you doing this evening?
This dude's reading off cards.
So look, it's me, Jamie, and Zach. Earl's a no show. So look, we got week 9 college football picks and week 8 NFL picks. So let's get to it. Let's do the NFL first, so we can go. We always go a little bit faster on the picks for the NFL. I haven't pulled up Zach or Jamie. If one of you guys can pull up the college picks that we got ready, and we'll do those second. All right, Thursday night game is Baltimore at Tampa Bay. I think most people were thinking Tampa Bay was really going to roll early before the season started, but not now. Look, I think Tampa Bay looks terrible, but I'm still going to take Tom Brady at home against a struggling Baltimore team. I got the Bucs.
Yeah,
Jamie.
I'm going with the
All right,
Bucs.
so let's go. Me, Jamie, Zach. Jamie, you got the Bucs.
Yeah, as bad as the Bucs have looked, I think they're going to beat the Ravens, and the Ravens will keep their 500 record going.
Yeah, I got the Ravens going 9-8, so I need them to stay on pace here and drop this one to go to 4-4.
Yep. All right. Next is that we're going into the Sunday matchups. Denver at Jacksonville. I'm going to take Jacksonville. Terrible game.
I got the Jags.
Take Jacksonville. Denver can't score.
No way.
And Russell Wilson's getting booed out of fucking town.
He's beat up too. He might. I mean, I think they just announced that he's trying to start from some sort of injury. I don't even think it matters. He might play better if he's hurt. All right. Next, Carolina at Atlanta. I'm taking Atlanta.
I'm going Atlanta.
Gotta take the Falcons.
Chicago at Dallas. I'll take Dallas.
Cowboys.
Yeah, Cowboys. Either the Bears offense found themselves last week.
Fluke.
Yeah. I wouldn't say they found themselves. They found a fluke. All right, Miami at Detroit. I couldn't think of the fucking word I was gonna say. Miami at Detroit. Both teams can score, so this should be a pretty entertaining game. I'm gonna take Miami.
Yeah, the Dolphins. Tua's back, so Dolphins are back on track.
Yeah, I take the Dolphins. Also, I saw a stat online. I didn't check it. That the Lions have averaged like 3 points the last 2 games or something. After being like the highest scoring team for the first 5.
They lost their offense.
Yeah.
All right, Arizona, Minnesota. I am taking Minnesota.
Yeah, Vikings.
Yeah, Vikings.
Las Vegas at New Orleans. I'm taking Vegas.
Raiders.
I'll take the Saints. Fuck it.
All right. New England at New York Jets. I'm gonna take the Jets.
Yeah, I like the Jets too. The Pats seem to have a quarterback controversy going on. They both suck.
Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it a controversy or do they just not have one? I'll take the Jets.
I was Anthony's boy. He was high on.
Yeah.
He's a bum.
I fucked up. I fucked up on a couple guys this year, but not Pickett. I'm holding out for Pickett.
He sucks too.
All right. Speaking of Pickett, that's a nice segue. Pittsburgh at Philadelphia. I'm gonna go Eagles.
Yeah, Eagles stay undefeated.
Yeah, the Steelers are fucking bad.
Yeah,
I go with the Eagles.
True statement. Next, Titans at Texans. Titans.
Give me the Titans.
Yeah, Titans.
Yeah, this isn't close. What do you guys think about? Next, Washington versus the Colts. I'm gonna take Washington, I guess.
Yeah, I'm taking Washington too. The Colts just moved on from Matt Ryan.
Did they really?
Yeah, they're going with Sam Ellinger. So I think preseason I said that the Colts would be like the Rams last year. So complete opposite.
Yeah, you did. I was gonna call you out on it. I'm glad you did it yourself.
I said Matt Ryan would bounce back also.
Yeah, we were calling him Matty Ice like 2 weeks ago. and now he's on ice.
Yeah, I actually I think Washington's gonna win, but I refuse to fucking pick them with that name. So I'll take the Colts.
Yeah, I agree with the name thing, but we'll go with just Washington. All right, next, San Francisco at the Rams. I'm gonna take the 49ers.
Yeah, I'm going Niners too.
Yeah, I'll take the Niners.
Wow, a sweep for the Niners. How the mighty have fallen. All right, next is the Giants at the Seahawks. This actually is a surprisingly crazy good game. I'm gonna take Seattle.
I like the Giants here. I'm not buying the Geno Smith hype just yet.
Okay.
I'll take Seattle at home.
Yep. This was definitely a home team game. I would have taken whoever's at home. Green Bay at Buffalo. Definitely Buffalo. Green Bay's in shambles, and Buffalo is probably gonna be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Buffalo's gonna win.
Yeah, that's the easiest one I think on the sheet.
And then the Monday night Ohio matchup, the Bengals and the Browns. Bengals big time.
Yeah, Bengals are finding their stride, and the Browns are just not very good until Deshaun gets back.
And then they'll be just kind of not good instead of not very good. But yeah, the Bengals, I think, are going to kill them. They seem to have turned it around. So
yeah, they definitely seem to have picked it up lately. When does Deshaun come back? Is it week 9 or week 11?
It's 11, I think. And I think that I think that when Deshaun gets back, the Browns will be a lot better, and they'll actually have a pretty happy ending to their season.
Yeah.
You're gonna cut that?
No, you're good. You're good. So if we back up a little bit, we do have Carolina playing in Atlanta. So who wins the fight between Baker Mayfield and Mariota? This is a good one. I'm taking 100% Mariota.
Yeah, Mariota, easily.
I was going to take Mayfield easily. Mariota
Really?
seems like kind of a hippie or something.
Just because he played for Oregon?
No, just his personality. He looks like stone-faced all the fucking time.
He's cool. He's
like
smooth.
Yeah, like a killer.
He's unwavered, unflappable.
Dude looks
No,
like a killer.
He's fucking him up. All right, but I don't think. Yeah. All right. So that's good. So Baker, 1 for Baker, 2 for Marcus Mariota. All right, and then the Ravens game. Let's back up to that. So that's the Thursday night matchup. The Ravens, I thought we already talked about the Browns game last week. We haven't thought they looked too good. What do you guys think about this game? You want to do any score predictions? I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be another terrible Thursday night game. I wouldn't be surprised again if it's one of these 13-6 games.
Yeah, I was going to say it has to be low scoring and ugly the way these teams are playing. I mean, I guess if Baltimore shows up, they could blow them out because the Bucs have been atrocious. So the Ravens have at least like shown signs of being good. The Bucs have just been non-existent.
Yeah, I also see a low scoring game to continue the trend of Thursday night football.
You guys score predictions?
I thought what you said was about right.
I'm going 13-6 Bucs.
I'll say
I think the Ravens will score, so I don't know, like 17-21 or something like that.
Bucs?
Yeah, I picked the Bucs.
Okay. And then Zach, what's yours?
16-10. Bunch of field goals.
Yeah. I mean, I think what's really weird is that I think we all agree it's just going to be an ugly, shitty, non-scoring game, which is a surprise actually for both teams. Even though we've been kind of hard on Lamar, the Ravens to score as little as they have been and struggle the way they have, it's really weird. So they don't look very good. But maybe they'll get it going against Tampa Bay. I don't know.
I seen this post on social media. It had a picture of Mark Andrews and it said missing underneath. I'm just like, are people surprised that defenses are actually starting to guard this guy and take him away and make guys make plays? Like that's like to shit on Mark Andrews is crazy. That's the best thing they have going.
Yeah. I don't really follow like all the fandom around Baltimore. So I don't really know what the themes are in terms of where the blame is going. The only thing I know from having Garrett on is that there seems to be a lot of scrutiny of the offensive coordinator. And
yeah, I would say the offensive coordinator is definitely getting the most hate, but I just thought it was very strange to see some Ravens fans like turning on Mark Andrews because he's not like dominating every game. I thought it was weird. So,
well, it's also weird because he's their leading receiver. Lamar has 1,400 yards. He has 450 of them.
Right. And the other thing is too, like, it's not like he's like dropping passes or not playing well. He's not open. He's not getting targets. Like, what do they want him to do?
Right. Yeah, I didn't want to get into this with Garrett on there either. He'll probably, I think he listens to all the shows, so he'll hear it. But I thought that play that he was talking about last week with the Browns, this was, I don't know if you guys remember, but it was like 4th and 1. They put Andrews under center. They put Lamar at running back.
They pitched it to him and he ran left.
And they just did a pitch to Lamar.
Yeah.
Like, on what planet do you take your franchise quarterback, the guy that you think is going to be the future, that you're talking about giving $200-300 million, whatever they're talking about giving him, a big amount, and say, yeah, let's put somebody else under center and put this dude out at running back. The whole Baltimore thing is, I don't understand Harbaugh. I don't understand the decision making, the 4th down attempts. I don't understand any of the coaching decisions, and that's not the offensive coordinator to me. That's Harbaugh. I
agree with you that play was very weird, but earlier in the season, the Ravens did do a QB sneak with their tight end under center.
That's different.
So I think that was a neat little wrinkle to put the tight end like he was going to sneak and then pitch it out. I thought it was it's definitely a weird play, but for the Ravens to do it, I liked it when they did it. And
really?
Lamar looked like he was in his natural position.
Well, I know.
I think if you're going to do that, though, shouldn't you put him out wide and then let it be a running back there? And if, let him run into the pile and whatever.
That's my issue, is why do you risk an injury there? If you're just going to do a pitch play, and I understand that you want to catch everybody off guard or whatever, but I saw the same play where they put Andrews under center. And I actually think that's a good plan, because now since they're allowed to push from behind, there's a lot of bodies getting banged around in there. So I don't blame them for not wanting to put their quarterback in harm's way, but that's exactly what you do when you pitch the ball to him and say, yeah, here, you're a running back for a play. Go get tackled by 5 guys. It's different than a quarterback rush when he's only getting hit by 1 or 2 guys. When you're a running back, it's usually getting gang tackled, right? First guy gets him, another guy comes in and hits him. It's a totally different thing. I just thought it was weird and stupid. And
well, I mean, there's a reason they have short careers.
Right. The punishment they take, it was weird. I don't like Harbaugh's coaching at all. He's been very successful with Baltimore for a long time, so you can't take that away from him. But the decision making in the last 2 years, and I don't give a fuck if they want to blame it on analytics. I don't give a fuck. It's still their decision. It's the decision making is atrocious. And I know, they want to blame the offensive coordinator. That's fine. Harbaugh's responsible for everything that happens on that field. So whatever.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say about that is maybe they're setting up for a pass play later down the road, where it's pitched back to him and then he throws it.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
But it still seems stupid. I don't know.
If they did that on a 4th and 1, that would be one of the worst play calls ever.
But that would be the play. I agree with Zach. I don't think they're setting up for down the road, because I don't think a team is going to be like, oh shit, when they did this 4 weeks ago, they threw in it. So he's going to, I don't think you're setting, you set it up for later in that game, maybe a play like that, but not down the road. But I see what you're saying, Zach.
You would do that on 4th and short. You would have your tight end snap it, pitch it to your quarterback, and him throw it down the field.
Maybe 3rd and 2 or something.
No, if it's me, I would have my quarterback take the fucking snap like quarterbacks do and run a play. That's what I would do.
That play, having the tight end take the snap, that is basically a play on a QB sneak.
Right. So do it.
No, I know. I'm fine with that. But I'm saying if they snap the ball with the tight end, pitch it to the quarterback, and he throws it down, like, what the fuck are we talking about? Fucking the turkey bowl with the family? Like, what are we doing?
It's only one step crazier than what happened.
It's too much.
It's too much.
It's too much.
I thought it was weird. I agree with Zach 100%. If you want to run that play to mix it up, a nice wrinkle, great. Have Lamar back there, put him in motion. let him take a defender with him, and then just give it to a running back. It just seemed weird to me.
No, I also agree with Zach too. Like that makes a lot of sense. Like they could have just moved Lamar out instead of tossing him the ball. But if there is a quarterback that you can toss the ball to, it's Lamar Jackson. So.
I know that, but I know it's not that he doesn't have the athletic ability. Everybody knows he can run. I'm just saying, why do you put him in harm's way like that?
I get that 100%.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, that's like some shit I would do in NCAA when I was 10. It's like start moving the players all around the field and just doing crazy shit.
Right. It's backyard football.
Of course, this is the same coach that didn't take a field goal in a tie game with fucking 2 minutes left. So
yeah, his decision making has been dog shit.
It's atrocious, man. And every time a coach said, if I was a GM or an athletic director, if my coach said the analytics said to do it, I would fire him. I'd be like, fuck you, I'll hire the computer. I don't need you. If you're not going to make the key decisions in key situations that I pay you for, then get out. Fuck off. I don't need you. It's a scapegoat. It's no different than saying, yeah, my offense coordinator called that call. I have to talk to him about it. All you're doing is you're just completely deflecting. You made the decision.
Yeah. And
why did you think it was a good idea to do that in this situation?
But that's a good point because sometimes they won't get it on fourth or they won't score the touchdown and they'll say analytics. And there's no fucking way possible that the analytics says to go for it rather than take the points. There's no fucking way. It is a scapegoat, I think. Like if something happens and the decision is questioned, it's always, well, our analytics, da, 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 da. It's bullshit. Yeah. Bullshit.
And nobody knows. I heard somebody, I don't know what show I was watching, but it was pretty funny because whoever I was watching was like, where is this analytic book? Like, can we buy this? Can we get on Amazon and buy the analytic book that's telling these coaches to make all these decisions? And that's exactly right. Like nobody knows what the fuck they're talking about. What analytics? Show us the analytics then. Show us where it said that you're a total dumb asshole and you're incapable of making a competent decision and you fucked up, because that's what the book should say. Because that's all that happened.
Basically, if all these coaches are going to analytics, then anybody can coach and just use the analytics.
Exactly. Right.
And the reality is the analytics are a tool, but you still have to take the game into account. And that's why there's not fucking computers coaching. Yeah, you have reason.
You have to coach. A coach is there to get a feel for the game, and he knows his team and knows what they're capable of. You have to actually coach.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in a fucking 13-10 game with a minute left and it's 4th and 1 and the analytics say go for it, you fucking punt. Like your defense is giving up 10 points all game. You have to be aware of that.
I've watched
it just makes no fucking sense.
I was watching I think we talked about this last week. I was watching, I think the last Thursday night's game was like Temple and Tulsa. And I don't even know if we did talk about this game. The game was terrible, so there was nothing really to talk about. But I'm watching the game because it was the only thing on Thursday night or Friday night or whatever night it was on. And the game was 10-0. And it was like in the second quarter. So points kind of hard to come by for Tulsa. Tulsa's down. So to me, I mean, a team that can't really score, every point's huge, right? That's what I would be thinking as a coach. Look, this team can't score, so we just keep piling them on. They get down to the 4-yard line. They go for it on 4th down instead of kicking the field goal. And they end up losing, I think, by a field goal or 4 points or something. It was bizarre. It's bizarre how you don't pile on these teams that are having difficulty scoring. Like every point matters. Every field goal matters. These coaches don't make any sense, man. They don't make any sense. But that's enough about the NFL. Anything else for NFL before we wrap up?
Nope.
All right. So Zach had to step away for a second. So Jamie, let me ask you while we're waiting to do our college picks. He'll be back in a minute. What do you think of the AP rankings? So the AP rankings have Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, Tennessee 3, and Michigan 4. Fair or unfair?
I mean, the AP, like I don't agree with it, but the AP always their thing is, just shift everybody up as the season goes on. So they don't make any tough decisions or make any major moves unless somebody loses. So that's why Georgia's 1, Ohio State's 2, and Tennessee has moved up because they've done a ton of shit to deserve to move up. And Michigan's 4. Where's TCU on that list?
TCU's number 7. So I'll go through the top 10 real quick. I'll run down. So Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, Tennessee 3. Look, I know that these games are all going to be played. I just think they're fucked up right now. But you're right. They go with their preseason rankings. Fuck them. All right, Georgia, Ohio State, Tennessee. 4 is Michigan. 5 Clemson. So all those teams are undefeated. 6 Alabama at 7-1. 7 TCU at 7-0. 8 Oregon at 6-1. 9 Oklahoma State at 6-1. And 10 is tied with USC and Wake Forest both at 6-1. So that's your top 10. And let me just tell you guys, I saw an interview with Heather Dinich, who I like. I mean, I think she usually has pretty good input on the playoff stuff. But boy, I couldn't believe her Final Four. They said, "What's your playoff 4 today?" And her 4 for the playoff were Ohio State number 1, Georgia number 2, Tennessee number 3, and Oregon number 4.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oregon over Alabama, over an undefeated Michigan, over an undefeated Clemson, over an undefeated TCU. Oregon that lost 49-3 in the opening week. Anybody want to try to figure that one out?
A lot of people have Oregon surging and being like a dark horse to get into the playoff, which from what I've seen, they're eliminated. There's nothing that they could do to get in the playoff. Like you can't lose like that.
Like, not unless every single team in front of them loses 2 games. They shouldn't be allowed in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Oregon, there's nothing that Oregon can do to get into the playoff. Like even if they win all their games, they still need multiple teams to lose multiple games.
Because nobody is going to have a worse loss in a big game than that.
No. And the weird thing is like these people that are making these lists and have a say about the playoffs, like it's almost like they forget what actually happened because it was a couple weeks ago. They only want to look at like what they're doing now. And Oregon has been destroying people, but I don't think they've beat any team that is even, would even be a playoff contender. I know they beat UCLA, who was undefeated, but they were overachieving and really hadn't beaten anyone. So to beat them and like basically soar up the boards and be a playoff contender again is strange to me.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like the 24-hour media cycle that we have now, or they just go with goldfish memory so they can run the next big story. But even Tennessee, like we played Bama 2 weeks ago, had a bullshit game with UT Martin last week. I haven't heard a fucking word about us in a week and a half.
No.
Like,
well, the narrative after that game was basically what Alabama needs to do.
Yeah,
game where if you guys would have lost, if Tennessee would have lost to Alabama, you would have never heard of anything about Tennessee again, unless you guys beat Georgia and got to the SEC championship game. They would have had to talk about you. But I feel like the narrative after a big game like that hasn't been about, wow, Tennessee, they beat Alabama. They won a big game. Like that was huge. It's all been about what Alabama did in the game to lose and then what they need to get back.
That's and then blaming the officials some along the way.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of official blaming, including on the game day crew. I heard that fucking asshole Bear that they have on game day. I can't even stand listening to this guy talk. And he was like, yeah, look what it took for Alabama to get beat by Tennessee. 17 penalties, a ridiculous pass interference call, and a stupid decision on a punt. I'm like, really? It wasn't the 52 points that got hung on them. That wasn't it. It wasn't those 52. I mean, it's a slap in the face. But the thing is, nobody's going to believe in Tennessee until they get it done. I mean, we don't have the margin for error that Georgia has, that Ohio State has, that Michigan, that the big brands have right now. We just don't. As soon as we beat Alabama, everybody started talking about how are we going to get in the playoff after we lose to Georgia? It was just done. Like, okay, well, they got that one, but now when they lose to Georgia, here's what's going to happen. It's a fucking joke. We're going to beat Georgia, I think. I mean, we'll get into those picks next week, but I think Georgia's good. And I'm not saying we're going to roll them or anything like that, but I think we're going to beat them. I don't think they have as much talent on their roster as Alabama, but they play better as a team than Alabama right now. So it's still going to be a tall order, but we'll get to that one next week, I guess. What do you guys think?
I hate that whole what if shit. I mean, what if Tennessee had gotten off the field on third down more? We would have fucking beat them by 40. Like, what if we hadn't given up a scoop and score with 6 minutes left? Like, exactly. It's just a dumbass game to play. We made the plays that we needed to fucking make. There were some bad calls on both sides. Fuck you.
Yeah, but this is what they do. Like the result's not important. Like this is the same committee that ranked a team in front of a team that they had just beat. So like these two teams played. One team won. The team that lost was ranked ahead of them the next week. Like that's the weird shit that they do. And it's like, oh well, this happened, or they lost because of this, or we think that they've, with Oregon, it's going to be, we think they've improved. They have a brand new coach and they're a better team now. They do whatever they have to do to get these teams in to the playoffs and make a case for these teams that really don't deserve it.
Yeah, they're definitely starting with the conclusion they want and just rationalizing all the way down.
Yep.
Until they can't.
Yep. That's it. And that's what they said last night on the show I was watching. Of course, the same crew that does all their little picks, Pollock and Herbie and all of them. And they asked the question, who, why do you have Ohio State won? They said, well, we think Ohio State's more balanced, even though their defense has never been tested. And even though Tennessee has an explosive offense, I think that they said at the end of the day, the bottom line is that if Ohio State played Tennessee, I like Ohio State in that game. That's the bottom line for me. That's why I get Ohio State to win. So basically saying, well, this is what I thought before the season started, so I'm going to keep rolling with it until somebody proves me wrong. So it's like, and then Herbie, of course, says, yeah, Vegas likes Ohio State also. Like, oh, really? Is that what we're going? So the odds that Vegas gives. So why play the fucking games?
Maybe he's playing analytics.
Yeah.
I'm too stupid to make a decision. So what does Vegas have? Okay, Ohio State. Where did I go to school? Ohio State. Okay, Ohio State. It's stupid. Like, why do we have these guys on TV if they can't make real decisions? They're basically a talking A people, where they're like, all right, this is what I thought preseason. I'm just going to keep doing it until it's proven not right. Like,
right. Well, and as long as it's in their interest, Ohio State, that's his program. So he'll keep pumping them up until there's no reason to. It's just, it's so infuriating because it will all sort itself out. None of it matters. It's only for discussion. We play Georgia, both undefeated. Michigan plays Ohio State, both undefeated. All these things will get sorted out. But the point is, it's a slap in the face when they sit there today. So they really could just be honest and let these things play themselves out, but they won't even do it when they know it's going to get sorted out anyway. They won't even say, yeah, I'll put Tennessee at number one, because they just can't allow themselves. It's because they've seen the recruiting rankings and they think that Ohio State has more talent, and it's bizarre. They keep talking about the talent that Ohio State has all over the field. I saw them play Notre Dame, who's 3-3. I didn't see anything impressive. I watched them play first halves of games, and yeah, they've scored 40 points against super inferior opponents. I've not seen anything overly impressive with Ohio State. That they beat Iowa bad? Who cares? Who cares?
Notre Dame's 4-3.
Oh, my bad.
So I didn't want you to have to booth review that. I don't even know if we do the booth review anymore. You're getting lazy.
Nah.
But
yeah, we got lazy.
I mean, we're over 500 team. So.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now. I think Notre Dame.
You guys are Ohio State's best win.
Easily, yeah. And that's nothing to brag about. They even said that on TV last night when they were talking about Ohio State. And they were basically shitting on Notre Dame because we didn't pan out so that they could say that Ohio State beat a good team. We need Notre Dame to win so that our best win looks better.
And the thing that pisses me off is, like, we don't have to get into the whole hypotheticals thing, but Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee all end up with one loss, and then Ohio State or Michigan beat each other. You can bet your fucking ass they'll be advocating for Tennessee to get left out in a fucking rematch of whoever lost in the Big Ten game.
100%.
Even though they've played 2 games all season where they could lose, like.
Yeah, I don't know that we would get, and it isn't worth. I mean, we can really start to do the what if game once they do the actual playoff rankings next Tuesday. I mean, if we don't take care of business against Kentucky, it won't even fucking matter. So, I mean, it's only week 7, week 8. I mean, we've already had our bye, so we're 7-0. We have 5 games left. Everybody's in the right in the thick of their schedule. When one thing I did agree with, what one of the analysts was saying, he's like, this is the point of the season where close games happen for absolutely no reason whatsoever that you just didn't see coming because of fatigue or loss of focus or whatever the case may be, the grind of the season. And I do agree with that. right now everybody's in the grind, and there will be some crazy outcomes that people don't expect. Like if Kentucky were to give us a game or beat us this weekend, I would be shocked, because this is a game when I look at them, we'll get into it in a minute, that I think we should absolutely fucking crush.
Well, I don't know if you guys know, but a wise man once said that October's for pretenders and November's for contenders. So
yeah,
that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, that wise 2-loss coach.
Like we can lose all the games in October just as long as we win the ones in November. Like what? And he's also talking about a win that took place in October. It's not even November yet. That dude's an idiot.
Yeah. Brian Kelly is a moron. There's absolutely. But you know what's funny about LSU? So the same thing that people are doing with Oregon. At least Oregon they lost, and then they reeled off 6 straight games. Okay, good. And Bo Nix is playing great, and they're scoring some points. So at least there is a story there. So I'm not saying they definitely should never be in the playoffs, but at least there's a story.
Yeah.
LSU lost the opening game against Florida State. They got throttled by Tennessee at home, and they're not a playoff team, but the LSU fans think they're back in it. It's weird.
Well, shit, they beat Alabama. ESPN might say they're back in it too.
No,
they might put them ahead of us.
Nobody on the planet would say that LSU is in it regardless of any outcome. You know the kind of turmoil that would have to happen for LSU to make the playoff? Everybody would have to quit. All the other teams have to decline the invitation.
Yeah, and the hypotheticals thing isn't a big deal. It's more of just the fact that, like, I know it doesn't matter because everybody plays their games. It'll work itself out. But it pisses me off because those hypotheticals do happen sometimes. And then you know who's getting fucked over going into it. Like, was it the Big 12 a few years ago got left out with 2 1-loss teams?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
is the price you pay, though, for a bullshit schedule. And I don't have a problem with that. Now, the one thing I will say is that the game day crew, while I can't stand them because they all just pump up their own teams and their own programs and their own conferences, the college playoff has been pretty good about, I think, about selecting the best 4, other than that Ohio State bullshit, when Penn State beat them and that whole debacle.
Well, yeah, because it was back-to-back years. And that's what I was going to say is the year that TCU and Baylor got left out, they said, well, Ohio State played in the conference championship. You should have to be a conference champion to go. And the next year, Ohio State lost to Penn State, didn't play, and they put them in anyway without being in the conference championship game.
The criteria changes every year, depending on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
they don't even make any bones about it. They're just like, yeah, well, it's the resume. Oh, well, look, when we match you up with this team and you do this resume, oh, what's the eye test? These guys are so full of shit, and they know it. They're just doing it for the benefit of getting into the ears of the committee, getting into the ears of the public, and trying to have some influence. They know they're full of shit. And it's all self-motivated. It's disgusting, man. It's not what college football is supposed to be. You know what I mean? All these athletes are out there putting it on the field. So when you put it on the field, let the results speak for themselves. And so if you do, so Jamie, what would your top 4 be right now in order? Are you looking at the AP?
No, but I don't have to. If I'm just putting the 4 best teams in, not really caring about conference.
Based on what we've seen up to this point, yeah.
I would say Georgia, Tennessee, Ohio State, and Alabama. I mean, those are the 4 best teams that I know that 3 are from the SEC, but I was thinking, Clemson, they're not good. Like they're going to probably be the ACC champ, but they don't even have a quarterback. They can't score. They're not a good team. TCU, they're undefeated right now, but I'm not picking them over any of the teams that I listed as my top 4. And then, who else is left?
Michigan.
I just think Michigan's going to lose to Ohio State. So
yeah, Zach, what's your 4?
I would replace Bama with TCU, but TCU's undefeated and they won a couple big games.
You got Georgia number 1 also?
Who is their best win? Oregon?
Oregon.
They haven't had another big game yet, have they?
No, that the back half of their schedule is where it's loaded up for them. So they still have us. I think Mississippi State still got Kentucky. They got Florida this weekend. So they got some games coming up.
Yeah, I mean, if I put them at number one, it wouldn't be because of their resume this season. It would be because of, the last few years.
Yeah, see,
and just the talent discrepancy.
That's what people do. And I get that. I get when people say, look, I think Georgia's better. They have more personnel, they have more players, they more recruit, whatever you. Nobody's disputing that. Everybody understands that Tennessee is ahead of schedule this year. We weren't supposed to be where we're at this year. Everybody understands that. But if you're doing your ranking based on the top four, based on what you've seen through 7 weeks, we're the best team. We're the only team with four top 25 wins.
Yeah, but that's not true, because TCU has four top 25 wins as well. And that's
we're tied. Yeah.
And that's what I would say is, I know Zach put TCU in his top 4, but if Alabama and TCU played today, who would you pick to win the game?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I completely agree with what you're saying, but if we're just basing on resume and this season, then I'd have to put them in. Right. No, I agree. Alabama would beat the shit out of them. I mean,
yeah. Because TCU, they've struggled in their Big 12 games against that. I mean, OK State's not. I mean, they're a good team, but they're not a playoff contender. And then Kansas State almost beat them last week with a backup quarterback in the game. So, like, come on, we're just waiting for TCU to lose so we can kick them out and eliminate them.
Yeah, I think when things are going to get crazy this season is when TCU and Clemson both drop one, which I'm assuming is going to be soon.
I don't see Clemson losing. I don't know if you've seen
their offense is atrocious. If Syracuse had a functioning offense, they would have won that game.
That was their last hard game. Other than Notre Dame is going to have to beat them for them to lose. They don't play anybody else.
Yeah, and I'm a Notre Dame fan telling you that Clemson's probably going to go undefeated. Their schedule's that bad.
Yeah.
And if that's the threshold to get into the playoff, then this system is fucked up. And this is the year that really shows it.
Yeah, they should expand it to 12 this season. I mean, listen, here's the thing. Let's do this real quick. If we just take the AP top 12, so if we say the top 4 teams get a bye, fuck the conferences. Let's just say the top 4 teams get a bye. So you got Georgia, Ohio State, Tennessee, and Michigan, right? They would all get a bye. All right. Number 5 would play number 12. So you would have UCLA play Michigan. That's a good game.
That's a good game.
I mean, is that a walk for Michigan? No. That's a game.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Number 6, Alabama plays there's a split at number 10 between Wake and USC. So let's give Alabama USC.
They beat both of those teams, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I think Bama USC is a more fun game because of the history. Wake Forest gets rolled by anybody. They're the weakest of the top 12. So we got Bama going in a pretty good game there. 7 TCU would play Wake Forest. That's a good game. I think that's a game. Are you picking? I mean, is it a lock that TCU wins that game? No.
They'd be favored, but it's not a lock.
Yeah. Number 8, Oregon would play number 9, Oklahoma State.
That's a good game.
That's a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if it goes chalk, right? If it goes chalk, then number 8 would play number 1. So Oregon would then turn around and play Georgia. Oh my gosh, that would be so bad for them.
I think that game would probably be something like 49-3.
I think Oregon would cancel. I think they would cancel. I think they'd be like, fuck it, season's over. We're not doing that again.
I think Bo Nix would suddenly be sick on game day.
Right. Dude has COVID.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's fucked up. Anyway, number 7 will play number 2, or that's TCU playing Ohio State. Ohio State wins that pretty easily, I think.
I think
everybody agrees. Yeah.
I don't think easily. I don't think Ohio State's very good.
Yeah, I don't think TCU is very good, though.
Yeah, I think Ohio State would probably be a 9.5 point favorite in that game.
Oh, easily. All right, number 3, Tennessee would play number 6, Alabama.
Jeez.
I mean, that's a game that we saw that. That was a game. And then number 4, Michigan would play number 5, Clemson.
That's a shitty game.
I think Michigan would roll them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Michigan would beat them for sure. I don't think Michigan's very good, but Clemson is not good. So if it goes chalk, then you have, so we just did the top 8. So now you do the final 4, right? So then you would have 4 playing 1. So now you have Michigan play Georgia and Tennessee play Ohio State. Georgia kills Michigan and Tennessee kills Ohio State.
And the problem with Ohio State is we only have one game to go off of where they played anybody decent on defense. And they scored 20 points.
Who, Notre Dame?
Yeah. You guys have a good defense. I mean, your offense hangs them out to dry, but
yeah, I think our defense is good.
Exactly.
I don't know how much you learned from that game, honestly. Like,
well, that's what I'm saying. We don't have anything to base off of for Ohio State because they've played no one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But before we get into that, I want to ask you guys a question. Since we're talking about playoffs and doing predictions and kind of shooting the shit before we wrap up with our picks. If Tennessee played Ohio State, if that were to go down that way, who do you like there, Jamie? Because everybody on the committee said, yeah, I like Ohio State to beat Tennessee, and that's why I think Ohio State's number 1. Who do you like in the Ohio State-Tennessee matchup?
I think you guys would win. But I think it would be a shootout similar to the Alabama game because they also have a pretty good offense. So it'll be a high-scoring game. It'll be a fun game to watch. You guys do have some defensive struggles. You don't completely suck on defense, but you have some struggles in the secondary. And then Ohio State, like we've said, we're not really sure how they are on defense because they haven't played anyone. So I mean, it's not a lock that I think you guys would win, but I do think you guys would win. It'd be a fun game to watch.
What do you think, Zach?
I think we beat them like 45-28 or something. I don't think it would ever be a blowout, but I think we would be in command. I don't think their offense is as good as they're getting the credit for. Right now, they're averaging the same points per game as us with that fucking schedule. So, in one of those games, they hung 70-something on Toledo or some shit.
Yeah. That's the issue I have. I agree 100%. And I think this is the problem. Like the national champions coming out of the SEC again, right? I think everybody would agree with that. The problem is that none of the analysts are going to pick Tennessee to be that team coming out of the SEC because we haven't proven anything. That's okay too. I mean, you got to do it on the field, and we do. We play at Georgia and Kentucky and South Carolina coming up. They're all ranked, so there's plenty of opportunities to do that. It's unfortunate that we have no margin for error the way these other teams do, because at the end of the day, when the season's over, we'll have played not even remotely close to the hardest schedule in the country, with absolutely no margin for error. But if we were to get through that schedule, get through the SEC, make it to the playoff, we would throttle Ohio State. I believe that. I would actually be praying that would be our first round matchup so that we could just beat the holy shit out of them and get it done with. Because I think Ohio State is just that overrated.
Yeah, I mean, their playoff performances have been atrocious.
Right. I think we're that much better than them, and I think they're overrated. So I'm not sold on the Ohio State thing.
And I actually think Michigan's going to beat them this season. So,
I mean, Harbaugh's a bum. He's a bum. Michigan just chokes. I don't have any faith in Michigan. They've only beaten them once.
New streak started.
Well, that's true. I mean, you got to win one before you can win two. I know, but damn. They've had some teams too. It's not like they've had shitty teams and being rebuilding. Harbaugh's been there, 10 years?
Like 8 or something, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a long time. That's a long time to have one win over your rival. I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. All right, let's run through our picks. You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Do it. You got them?
Yeah. Oklahoma State, Kansas State. We all have Oklahoma State.
I'm going to switch some of my picks. So
okay,
go ahead.
Right now, we all have Oklahoma State.
Good. I'm good.
Ohio State, Penn State. We all have Ohio State except for you. You have Penn State.
I got Penn State. That's just from I'm just shitting on Ohio State.
Well, but you also called that preseason, so I guess you're sticking with that pick.
I am. Even though Penn State is just bad, but I'm going to stick with it.
Penn State sucks.
Yep.
Huh?
I thought their whiteout game was always the Ohio State game when they played them at home, and they did it against Minnesota last week.
Maybe they've conceded this year and didn't want to waste it.
What the
I thought that same thing. I thought it was weird, but I think it's because the Ohio State game is the big noon game. It's such a joke. So I guess they didn't want to do their whiteout during the daytime. They wanted to do it at night. That big noon game is set. They really ought to just come out and say, look, we know that we're not going to get anybody to watch our game if we do it at 3:30 when the SEC is playing prime time, or 7:30 when the ESPN has their prime time. So we're going to call it the big noon when nobody else wants to play. Fucking hate it.
It's also 11 Central. So
some of the noon games this year have actually been pretty good. I will say that they haven't been big, but they've been noon.
Yeah, but they're just noon games. Let's call them what they are. You know, the SEC primetime game is at 3:30 every Saturday. We don't call it the big 3:30 game, the huge 3:30 game, the super 3. It's the CBS game. It's the SEC game of the week. That's all.
It's just a marketing tool.
It's bullshit. It's fucking stupid.
All marketing is bullshit.
Yeah. Go ahead, Zach.
All right, Notre Dame, Syracuse. We're split. Jamie and I have Notre Dame, and you two have Syracuse.
Yeah, I want to switch to Notre Dame. Can you switch me?
Okay.
This will be our big win over a ranked opponent that'll get us back into the playoff conversation. Like how keep that same energy, Heather Dinich.
Yeah. Hey, November's for contenders. You still got a month to go. You're good.
No. We can drop this game and still get back in it.
Absolutely. That's what Brian Kelly says. All right, Zach.
I would say, does anybody have anything to say about the game itself? I think after seeing Syracuse offense against Clemson, I refuse to pick them against any team with a decent defense. I think Notre Dame's going to win like 13-6.
Yeah.
The thing with Notre Dame this year is like, I just kind of just show up to my couch and turn the TV on and just see what we're going to do. Cause I have no expectations because our team has been so up and down. It's just like, it's a surprise every Saturday. I hate it.
Yeah, I picked Notre Dame for the same reason. I don't think Syracuse can do anything offensively, so I like Notre Dame to win a low scoring, grinded out kind of game. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's a shutout.
Yeah, I mean Syracuse had +4 turnovers and didn't score in the second half. So
right.
All right, Georgia, Florida. We all have Georgia. I think Georgia's the biggest favorite they've ever been against Florida, like 23.5 or something.
22.5. Yeah. Well, it might be 23.5 now. I think it opened at 22.5.
Yeah, whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a huge spread. I actually, on my actual picks where we used the spread, I took Florida. I think the spread's too big.
Yeah, I did too.
I agree. I don't think Georgia covers that.
Nah.
Yeah. Georgia's offense since that Oregon game has kind of been, they haven't been bad, but they haven't been lighting it up either. All right.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Kentucky, Tennessee is the next one. We all have Tennessee.
Do you guys think this game's close?
It shouldn't
Jamie,
be.
you picked Kentucky preseason. I know a lot of things have changed since preseason, but what are your thoughts now on after seeing 8 weeks worth of football? What do you think about this game?
Yeah, I think it's obvious that Tennessee is a much better team than Kentucky. Kentucky's had some issues, and Levis hasn't been playing very well. He's been dealing with some injuries, and even before that, he was having some turnover issues. But you guys are wearing black uniforms.
All black helmets too.
Yeah, so I think that's like Kentucky's going to show up and shit their pants. They see those cool ass uniforms. I think you guys win pretty convincingly, score a ton of points, and have a good night.
Yeah, that's why I think too. Kentucky, we were talking about it earlier today. Kentucky's been between like 14 and 26 points in all their SEC games. That's just not going to cut it. Their offensive line has been letting poor Levis just take a beating. So I think we're going to blitz all day, and it might be over by halftime.
The only thing I could see is Kentucky just having that one game where they just play their asses off because they want to fuck your guys' season up. Like that's the only thing they have going for them right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think if we kind of stamp that out early, a couple quick scores, go up by 10, 14 early, I think you take away that mindset and we can really start to bury them at that point. I don't think Kentucky's very good. I thought they were overrated preseason, and I think Levis is overrated. But it is a weird game coming off the UT Martin game, which was kind of a ho-hum sort of game, and then Georgia on the horizon. It really is. It doesn't set up that great. But Tennessee's not had a game yet this season where they haven't come in completely locked in and focused. So I don't have any reason to think that we won't do it for this game. And I do think that the kids, they love playing in those black uniforms, and this is the first time with the black helmets. I'm not a big fan of changing from the orange and white. I like our traditionals, but I do have to admit, with the black helmets and the black, they did look pretty cool when I saw the promo.
Yeah, it's also Halloween, so like,
I know.
Yeah,
you guys are orange, like,
and it's a night game. I mean,
yeah, come on, man.
Yeah, it'll be pretty crazy, and I know it gets everybody excited. I'm down with it. I mean, I get it. I get that it's a little bit of an outdated concept to say don't change anything, stick with the traditions. I mean, some of the stuff you gotta be flexible, and I get all that, and they do look pretty cool. The video I saw had the black uniform, black helmet, and he was wearing the black shield. So they were really pretty cool looking. Jamie, did you see the promo?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, they're pretty neat. So yeah, I think the crowd will be amped. I think the team will be jacked, and I don't think we come out flat. I just don't. I don't see it. Kentucky's ranked. It's not like they're coming in 4-4. So I think we come in focused. I think we blow them out. What's next?
Ole Miss at A&M. I'm the only one with A&M.
Yes,
Why?
you are.
Why is that?
A&M's been all over the fucking place this season, and Ole Miss just came off a beatdown.
I saw a meme. It had a picture of Tiger Woods when like he was young and he was winning tournaments, and then the other one was a picture of him, his mugshot.
Yeah.
It said Jimbo at Florida State, Jimbo at Texas A&M, and I'm like, this is spot on. Oh, Jimbo wasn't.
Who's mugshot?
Tiger Woods. It had Tiger Woods when he was young and like winning, and he's successful golfing, so he looked good. And then they had his mugshot where he just looked like total shit. And it's
what's the mugshot from?
I think
he got a DUI, didn't he?
Yeah.
He did?
Yeah, there's like a cop cam of his interaction with the cop.
Oh yeah. I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
Tiger's been
Jimbo.
Tiger's been through some shit. It's all been self-inflicted, but like he's been through some shit.
He has, man. It's strange that the car accident and it is. I saw a commercial with him the other day, and I was thinking the exact same thing. I'm like, this guy's been through the ringer. I mean, I wouldn't wish that on anybody, but whatever. I'm not a Tiger fan, but that car accident sounded pretty horrific. So Jimbo is a fucking train wreck. You guys watch his post-game interviews?
No. Are they as good as Mike Leach's?
Yeah, why would you do that?
I didn't, sometimes I put on YouTube, I'll watch some of the post-game pressers, and then it just, how it just keeps clicking to the next video that's sort of similar.
I know how YouTube works, but why would you watch it? Actually a good video.
I know, but when you ask me why I watched it, that's why. It just clicked to that video and I just left it on. I'm not trying to educate you on YouTube. I'm saying that's how it came on my TV.
Yeah, but my question for you is, why did you let YouTube basically control your life? Watch a video that you didn't want to watch.
I thought it was interesting.
Okay, so YouTube did a good job. It gave you a video that you were interested in.
Right, that was similar to the last one I watched. It wasn't that fucking hard. Anyway.
Hold on, because that's not like, I would watch a press conference from Marcus Freeman, but I wouldn't watch a press conference from another coach.
Oh, I do. I watch press conferences from a lot of the coaches.
You got a lot of free time.
Well,
you just watch every post game.
No, you are curious?
The most boring life ever.
What are you talking about?
You're just watching random coaches post game interviews.
I'm doing homework for the podcast. I'm getting ready.
Get a fucking life. Damn. Holy shit.
Seriously, you don't like you don't hear a quote from a coach. And this is the problem, motherfucker. This is the problem with people who buy into the media shit. Like when I hear a quote from a coach, I don't necessarily trust it. It's the way that they presented it. So if I can see the interview, I'll just go back and I'll be like, if I'm interested, I'll be like, yeah, I'll just watch the interview to see how he actually said it.
Yeah, 100%. But that scenario is different than what you're explaining. You just said that you were watching a video. His video came up and you watched it.
I did.
They're different things.
Aren't you curious to hear what a guy who's got $100 million contract, who they're talking about trying to fire, they're wondering how they're going to get out of it. You're not curious how he's responding after these games that are complete fucking messes?
No. Anytime I hear something about Jimbo, I just continue living my life. Don't pay it any attention. I don't give a fuck. Dude's a loser.
See, the only thing that I thought was interesting about him was when that A&M fan said it would be cheaper to get a hitman than to fire him.
That was fucked up. And it's actually true, but it's fucked up. But look, listen, A&M, and maybe we don't care because we're not A&M fans, but it is fucked up. I mean, they're in this crazy situation where they signed this guy to this $100 million guaranteed contract. I heard that somebody talking yesterday, and they said that if they fired him today, they owe him $84 million. $84 million. That's a shit. So, some of the people are saying, look, A&M's got money. They got boosters. If they want to get rid of him, they'll find a way. Find a way to pay a guy $84 million to go away. I don't see anybody paying $80 million to say thanks, but no thanks. I don't see that happening.
I seen a report about all the dead money in college football from paying coaches these big contracts and then firing them multiple years before their contract's up. And the amount, I can't remember, but it was an insanely high amount of money that they're paying coaches just to go away.
It's in the billions.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I heard the same thing. I couldn't believe it. I actually meant to bring it up too, because it was like 1 point something billion dollars since like 2016 or 2000. It's some ridiculous number over just the most recent few years. But they said that to date, the biggest buyout was Gus Malzahn, I think is what I heard, at $21 million. Jimbo Fisher is quadruple.
Yeah, Jimbo's like, hold my beer.
Well, the problem is that when they get that big, a lot of programs don't have the money to fire the guy, because then you start to pay a whole other staff. So they just get stuck with it. So even though they're not technically dead money, they're essentially just dead men walking, like getting paid to fuck off for 3 years.
What do you think Jimbo would do if they said, look, we can't fire you because we owe you all this money, but we're going to hire a new coach and we're going to make you like head custodian? So we're going to pay you the $84 million, but you still got to work for it. Does he do it? If they put him in charge of the grounds crew?
This is hypothetical, right? Because I mean, you can't do that, right?
Nah, I think you gotta. Well, I think they could demote him. I think they could say, "Look, we hired you to be a coach, but,
I don't know if they can do that either because he's head coach.
I can't imagine they could.
Because everyone can do it.
Yeah, because then they would bump their coach down to a coordinator and then hire a new one.
Yeah,
I've never heard of anyone doing that, so I assume it's not an option.
That's because the coach would undermine the guy that was the coach that's now the coordinator would undermine the new coach.
Yeah.
So it would be disastrous to do it. But if you could keep him on staff in whatever capacity you want,
I would think that the contract would be for a head coach position. Like it's very explicit in saying that. So there's no fucking way that someone would allow the school to demote them and make them continue to stay at the school. But just for your scenario, if someone wanted to pay me $84 million to be a custodian, I think I would show up with a smile.
Just so we're clear, I'm not shitting on custodians. I'm just saying a different job than what he has. It could be grounds crew. It could be.
No, I didn't take it that way. I'm just saying, like, it could be something lower than a custodian. Like, if you're paying me $84 million, just tell me what to do, and I'll do it.
I don't know. These guys have such big egos and have so much money already. He might say, fuck you.
And turn down $84 million, walk away from it.
How much has he made throughout his coaching career? $50 million?
Ain't nobody turning down $84 million.
Huh?
I don't know any person that's turned down $84 million besides maybe like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk.
Not guaranteed dollars. No fucking way. Nobody is. Nobody is. And there's no way. But here, so let's say hypothetically that and it might be in his contract that he's the head coach. So they probably do that, right? So he can't, somebody can't do what I'm talking about and like sort of layer him. But what would stop them from saying, okay, well, you're the head coach, but we're bringing in, we're creating position. It's like the super head coach. So he's actually going to be in charge. So you're still the head coach, but he's actually going to make all the decisions for the team. So you're going to report to him. He's your new supervisor or team operations.
So in this scenario, it's just a make believe. Just write the rules.
Yeah.
And your question is what? Would he stay on as the head coach and then report to the super head coach?
I guess my question is, could you make him quit?
I see. That's what. Are we ready to move on? I'm done playing make believe.
All right, we're talking about the A&M Ole Miss game. I think A&M still has a good defense, and Ole Miss shit in their pants last week. So I just don't think Ole Miss is going to bounce back. I think they're just going to kind of be like, fuck it. We were number 7 and undefeated, and we got stomped by LSU.
Yeah, I get that thinking, but Ole Miss or A&M fucking sucks, man. I just can't want them to win a game.
A&M just lost to South Carolina, who also sucks.
Hey, but once you guys beat South Carolina, you'll be talking that shit about beating a ranked opponent. So
a ranked opponent's a ranked opponent. I mean, it's the way it goes down.
No, I'm just saying.
Listen, Kentucky is ranked. I just said that. I think they're overrated. But when it's over, it goes down.
But Kentucky's not even like I would say that A&M and South Carolina are worse teams than Kentucky.
Agreed, 100%.
And I know South Carolina beat Kentucky, right? Without Levis?
Without Levis, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no way they win that game with Levis.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying I respect Kentucky a lot more than I respect A&M or South Carolina.
Yeah, A&M has to be a contender.
I agree on that.
A&M has to be a contender for the biggest disappointment this season.
Yeah, those teams. There's like 5 teams that would be good teams if they had any kind of offense. It's Notre Dame, Clemson, A&M. That's probably it. So there's 3 teams that could probably be really good teams if they had some kind of offense, and they just don't have offense. So it's hard to pick them to win games.
Yeah, and A&M was getting a lot of preseason love as a dark horse and all that shit too.
Yeah, which made 0 sense to me. Like when we were talking about it preseason, and like all the analysts were like, some people had them in the playoffs. It made I didn't understand. Like I was like, based on what? Based on recruiting, based on Jimbo's history, like because they haven't done anything on the field. They beat Alabama in that game, but that year I think they lost 3 or 4 games. So
yeah,
they haven't put anything on the field that would make people think that they're a contender.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead.
I'll say the next game is the Battle of the Michigans.
Well, let me before we move on. I do think that Ole Miss rolls A&M. I think A&M is bottom 3 in the SEC because I think they're just such a mess. And I don't know if you guys heard this, but they said that there's some locker room stories going around that are actually pretty horrendous. That number 1, they think there's getting ready to be a mass exodus. That players are already talking about entering the transfer portal as soon as it opens. And that number 2, that players are like smoking weed in the locker room, like it's an absolute free for all. Like the culture is so bad in the locker rooms, there's so little control that it's just they're saying that the things that they're hearing, if they're true, are like nightmarish in terms of what's going on in that locker room. So who knows if it's true? We'll see, I guess.
I mean, after Florida State, would you be surprised?
Exactly.
Yeah, not surprised. And also the way that Texas A&M is, just handing out free cash to all these recruits. Like, what do you expect?
So, Jamie, I know we talked about the NIL before, and we should probably get into this again next week because I actually heard a player, and I'm not going to say which school or which player, but interviewed and talking about the NIL because he was somebody that has capitalized off the NIL money. And they said, what do you think about the stories and some of the reports about the NIL? He said, we think it's funny. He said, we watch it and they talk about these numbers and these figures and none of them are ever accurate. He said, so we actually laugh when we see the interviews because none of them are true. So again, this NIL stuff, I don't know how much people actually know what the fuck is going on, how much is speculation. Nobody has shown any evidence of anything. It's just all shit talking by the coaches, by the media. So for what it's worth, that's something that I heard from somebody who's actually gotten an NIL deal and is attending a school right now. So whatever. Next.
Did that video come up on your YouTube suggested videos?
No, I was watching the interview live.
Okay.
There's a pregame. There's a pregame interview with the player.
All right, so it's Michigan State. We all have Michigan, obviously. Would be hilarious if they dropped this one, but
Michigan State can't do anything, right?
Yeah, but they might be able to beat Michigan. Well, that's always a crazy game.
They also just paid their coach. They gave him a big contract last year. So maybe some more dead money.
Who's this? Michigan State?
Yeah, Mel Tucker, right?
Yeah, what do you get? 96 million or something?
Yeah, 100 million.
Is it guaranteed too?
I don't know. I don't know how their contracts are.
Yeah, see, that's the issue with Jimbo is it's all guaranteed money. I don't know about Tucker.
Well, even if it's not all guaranteed, this early in the contract, the buyout must be massive. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
So
exactly. All right. Hey, I'm rooting for Mel Tucker this weekend. Hopefully he'll get it done. I would love to see them knock off Michigan. That'd be great.
I think he's 2-1 against Michigan, if I remember right.
D'Antoni just left a couple years ago, right?
This is
third year, right?
This is his third year.
Wow, I didn't realize it had been that long. Go ahead, Zach.
But he is 2-0 against Michigan. So there you go. So we were at Missouri and South Carolina. We all have South Carolina.
Have you guys seen Missouri play?
Only that one aberration where they should have beat Georgia.
It's weird. It's weird how they almost beat Georgia because they barely beat Vanderbilt, and they look like shit. I watched the game actually. I didn't watch the game. I watched the highlights, and man, it was bad. They're bad.
Well, we watched the Missouri Auburn game and Knoxville for the Florida game, and both those teams look like shit. They were both trying to lose.
Yeah. Well, they look worse. Missouri's gotten worse as the season's going on. They look absolutely terrible against Vandy. Go ahead.
So Baylor at Texas Tech. I have Baylor. Everyone else has Texas Tech.
Yeah, Baylor's no good.
Yeah, Texas Tech's like schizophrenic. So,
but they're home.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll stay hot now because they beat the shit out of somebody last week.
Yeah, they had a good win last week, and I don't have any faith in Baylor whatsoever.
And VT and NC State is the last one. We all have NC State.
Yeah, some of these games I picked just so I could keep pace with you guys because I'm so far behind. But I think Virginia Tech might actually give them fits. I just couldn't roll the dice because I'm 20 games out of first place.
Hey, you're not gonna win. I don't think there's not a strategy that you could use to where you'll win. So you should pick the games the way you think they'll play out.
Give me Virginia Tech.
All right. It's a Thursday night game too. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if that crazy shit happens.
And are you sure you want to take Notre Dame?
I'm locked in with Notre Dame's going to win.
All right.
How is Penn State still ranked number 13 when they were ranked number 10 and lost by 40?
What's Oregon ranked? What's Oregon ranked? Like,
yeah, but theirs took like 7 weeks to come back. Penn State came back in 2.
It's the Big Ten, man. You look through the top 25. There's all these Big Ten and ACC schools that are inflated just to keep these teams their resumes relevant.
Yeah, that's definitely what it is.
Happens every year.
Another kind of interesting game, I guess, is Utah Washington State on a Thursday night. I'm not sure if anyone cares about that one.
Yeah, Utah. That's a walk for Utah.
Utah has been a disappointment this year.
They had, but Washington State, I think, had a couple good games early, but has really fallen off. All right, so let's get ready for dark mode in Tennessee this weekend. Jamie, what time is Notre Dame game? Is it noon?
Big noon.
Big noon. Big noon. Not little noon?
Nah, it's just regular noon. We're on ABC.
Okay. What's the big noon? Fox?
So prime time. Yeah, Fox is big noon.
Big noon. Yeah, big noon. Yeah, that is the dumbest shit, and that's such a B crew of announcers. I can't. The Urban Meyer and like it's a joke. I can't.
Brady Quinn's
Huh?
on.
Exactly. It's really a C crew. All right, you guys got anything else?
Fuck you, man. Brady Quinn's a legend.
He's a legend where?
College football.
Man, come on.
Hey, make sure you cut out all that stupid shit you said.
All right. Good luck to everybody's team. Go Vols. See ya.